Madam President, I'm pleased to join Senator Blumenthal on the floor this afternoon as a co-sponsor of his resolution. I share his concerns that Merrick Garland has not yet gotten a hearing nor a vote in this body on his nomination to be on the Supreme Court of the United States. Since the beginning of our nation, the United States Senate has respected an important bipartisan tradition of giving timely and fair consideration to Supreme Court nominees, even during years when there is a presidential election. Sadly, this year the majority party has broken that tradition by refusing even to hold a hearing on the nomination of Judge Merrick Garland to serve as a justice. The current vacancy was created more than 200 days ago. President Obama nominated Judge Garland more than 7 months ago. And I am joining my colleagues on the floor this afternoon to urge the majority party and the leadership of this body to give Judge Garland a hearing, to give him a vote. It is time to extend to Judge Garland the same fair treatment that the Senate has given to every other person previously nominated to the Supreme Court by an elected president during a presidential election year. The majority party's refusal to date to consider the nomination of Judge Garland is really a shocking break with Senate tradition. Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution is unambiguous about the respective duties and responsibilities of the President and the Senate when there is a Supreme Court vacancy. The founders didn't intend, I believe, that these rules should be optional or should be something that could be disregarded. Article 2 states that the President shall hold this office during the term of 4 years. Not 3 years, not 3 years and 1 month, but 4 full years. And time and again, senators have done their constitutional duties by considering and confirming Supreme Court justices in the final year of a presidency. Most recently, Justice Anthony Kennedy was confirmed in the last year of President Reagan's final term in February of 1988. Indeed, it was a Senate with a Democratic majority who confirmed President Reagan's nominee, Justice Kennedy, and they did it unanimously, 97-0. The Senate Committee on the Judiciary began holding public confirmation hearings on Supreme Court nominees back in 1916, and in the 100 years since then, never before has the committee denied a hearing to a nominee to be a justice of the Supreme Court. So never before in our history have we seen this happen, that the majority party in the Senate has refused to conduct a hearing. Since 1975, the average length of time from nomination to a confirmation vote for the Supreme Court has been 67 days, because our predecessors in the Senate have recognized just how important the Supreme Court is to make sure that it's fully functioning. This bipartisan tradition regarding the Supreme Court has been put at risk by the majority's actions this year. But the Senate will have another opportunity to act on the nomination of Judge Garland when we reconvene after Election Day during the lame duck session. And I hope that the majority party, once we get through this election, will honor the Senate's tradition, that it will do the right thing, that it will give Judge Garland the hearing and the floor vote that he deserves. We all know that as senators, we have sworn to support and defend the Constitution. And our oath doesn't say uphold the Constitution most of the time, or only when it's not a presidential election year. The American people expect us as senators to be faithful to our oath of office. And they also expect us to do our jobs, regardless of whether it's an election year. So let's respect that oath of office. Let's do the job we were sent here to do by the American people. Let's follow the Constitution. As former Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, a justice nominated by a Republican president, As she said just days after the current vacancy occurred back in February, I think we need somebody on the Supreme Court now to do the job, and let's get on with it. Well, let's get on with it. It's time for us to do our jobs. I yield the floor.